When someone mentions Portugal, you might think of wine or port, or perhaps historical figures like Columbus might come to mind. But I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that ice hockey was most likely not the first thing that you would have thought to be associated with this southwestern European country. In actuality, Portugal doesn't even have an ice rink. However, it does have a national hockey team. And today on the Canadian Expat, we're going to learn about who's behind developing that team. Today in our discussion about Portuguese hockey, we have the honor of welcoming Jim Aldred and his wife. Jim, originally from Toronto, played hockey professionally in the 70s and 80s, and at one time was even drafted by the Buffalo Sabres. Jim, Christine, welcome to the Canadian Expat.
Welcome, thank you.
Jim, before we get into ice hockey and the team, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to live in Portugal?
Okay, my background is I married a Portuguese. We were in Canada for quite a while, all my life, and I played hockey all around the world. But her parents decided to move back to Portugal in their later age. And we thought, I always thought it'd be nice to go back to Europe because I played in Europe and Holland and a bit of Germany, and go back and be closer to her parents. So we decided to take the limb and jump and move back to Portugal with them.
So clearly ice hockey's in your blood, but finding the opportunity to play once in a while is different from finding a team to lead. How did you end up being coach of the national hockey team in Portugal?
Well, it started basically when we got over here. We were hanging around, like you said, wine and food, and the people are great, and the beaches are lovely. But like I said, hockey is in my veins, and I decided to reach out to just through the internet and online. I heard there was a few people that are doing ice hockey, but inline at the same time in this country. Expats, basically. There's some are ex-Americans, there's some Canadians that are over here, now living here, but lived in home back in Canada or the States. So they did have a little background of ice hockey and hockey itself. So I hooked up with a few guys that were involved in this. They were mostly inline at the time and did some ice on it. But the only time they did ice here in Portugal is when around Christmas they have pop-up ice surfaces, ice rinks they call them. They're very small. So that's the only time you could get ice around Christmas time to play a little bit of game on ice. But the rinks are very, very small. When you say pop-up, it's more like a little pleasure skate kind of thing. But you could put a little 3-on-3 hockey game going on there. But that's basically what happened. And we met up and we started working with a few people. And next thing you know, we've had the national team. And now we have a team now we play in Luso Links, play in the Spanish league, one of the leagues down in Spanish. Spain.
That's interesting. That sort of leads into my next question. I mean, if there's no ice rink in Portugal, permanent ice rink in Portugal.
There's a temporary one up about 2 hours away from where we're at, 3 hours away from Lisbon. So they have one in a shopping mall, and it's basically in the middle of food court. So it's mostly for pleasure skating, and they have the little figure skaters that go out and they basically have been practicing and performing in the country, and really no competition because they were not part of a federation or anything of that sort. So that's pretty much it as far as this.
Really, so there's really no one to practice with in Portugal in terms of competition?
No competition. Basically, we have an inline. We have a little inline leagues where some teams are available. But basically, our competition is our neighbor in Spain. We have to go down there because Spain's well ahead of us in Portugal. They've been playing hockey since 1978, 79. So they have like 9 or 10 rinks over in Spain. So they have leagues. They have a lot of leagues, and they have a lot of players playing hockey, girls hockey also. So we go across there to play. I took a team, put it together, and we have a league that we go down to Granada, and we play there with the team here, Lusa Lynx.
Yeah, again, Portugal has no official sized ice rink for now, but we do have a national ice hockey team, and recently, over the last 5 months or so, we were able to get Lusa Lynx ice hockey team to be Portugal's first official ice hockey team, which now plays in the Spanish league, and are doing quite well, if I should say so myself, thanks to the coach and to the dedication for all the players.
Congratulations on that. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any chance of getting an ice rink in Portugal in your future?
Well, basically, I will pass it over to my wife. It was a team effort. I don't speak any Portuguese, and I've been here for 3.5 years. I know a few words. I listen to it. I understand it a bit, but I'm not totally language barrier. So I needed my partner, my wife in crime. She does all the paperwork. She does all the phone calls. She does a lot of the background stuff that nobody knows what's going on. So if I didn't have her, we wouldn't even be even close to what we were today. So she would give you a little bit more of the background in that way. I teach. I try to get the kids involved in hockey, but she more is the off ice kind of controlling dealing with the government and the federations and stuff like that.
Yeah, like he said, I wouldn't be in the situation I currently am now if it wasn't for him as well, because I can't coach. I can tell them that they need to, defense and get back and move forward and to the right and to the left, pass the puck, but that's as far as it goes. As far as everything else behind the scenes, where do you start?
Where do we start? It's been a long 3 years.
It's been a long 3 years, but we're definitely made some progress over the years. We've signed up and we've become federated. We're now under the Federation of Winter Sports Portugal. If we hadn't made that decision, we wouldn't be as close to an ice rink as we are today. Currently, just wrapping up the final package to present to the government, and that's all being handled by the Federation. They're doing an awesome job, so we have all of our trusts in their hands that they will finally be able to announce in a couple months from now that everything has been approved and all the check marks are on the right boxes, and finally everybody that's dying for an ice rink in Portugal will have the first official permanent ice rink that everybody's desiring. And I mean, we started this off as far as ice hockey is concerned, but it's not just for ice hockey. There's a lot of people waiting for this. You're looking at speed skaters, you're looking at curlers, you're looking at figure skaters. Many opportunities will come up once we have the ice rink, and we're so looking forward to that challenge because it will be a challenge as well. Keep in mind that we're in a country where there's no background in ice hockey as far as players, children, parents, public, governments, you name it.
All soccer.
Yeah, basically soccer, and the second sport is a traditional Portugal hockey, which is on the quads, the roller skates from the 80s. So Portugal, I would consider that the second sport in Portugal right now. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to the challenge of commencing the uphill battle after we get the rink, of calling people in and bringing people in and hoping that they'll stay and will want to practice all the sports that an ice rink will be able to provide them. The culture here is totally different, but there is a very minimum percentage of ice hockey or ice sports as far as the culture is concerned. So that's going to need some work as well. But, we started this and we're looking forward to that. We've been wanting that. So again, once that comes up, it'll be like, yay. And then it's like, okay, now we got to roll up the sleeves again and get cracking on a different project. But that will be welcome for sure.
Well, thanks to you too. I'm sure there's a future Winter Olympic powerhouse waiting come out of Portugal.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
We're hopefully we'll
Hopefully
still be
we-
alive by then.
No, but I think it's going to happen, but it's going to be a it's not a battle, but I think it's going to be step by step.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think with the Olympic Committee behind us now and the Federation and everything else, we're on the right path.
What a legacy. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So
We're proud.
I bet you should be. Is there anybody on the team that has any ice hockey experience from outside of Portugal?
Yes, we do have, like I said, we had gentlemen that lived in Thunder Bay. Kevin, he's our assistant captain. He spent years in Thunder Bay and then came to Portugal when his parents moved back. So he lived in Canada, so he has a background of ice hockey.
That's in Ontario.
So basically, he's involved. Like I said, there's some other people that are involved in. We had got some people from Switzerland, who's our Portuguese passports or players that play in Swiss and live in Swiss, but they are Portuguese. So they come back and help us for the national team. So we have a fine, but we have at least roughly right now, if you look at the roster for the national team, you're looking at roughly about 8 or 9 local players that are actually born and raised and live in Portugal that play on the team. That's pretty impressive when we were looking at the roster a few weeks ago saying, how many actually guys live in Portugal, and there's like 8 or 9 that are actually on the national team that actually play, live and work and do all their stuff right here in Portugal.
They've never lived abroad.
Never live abroad.
And that number will only continue to grow.
Yes, with the younger folks getting involved, that's what we need to Rink for developed leagues and youngsters and start from there.
Yeah, we've noticed such a growth in numbers. We do hold practices in the little pop-up rinks that come around during Christmas season, and put it out on Facebook, social media, Instagram, and parents do show up with kids that want to try, and it's so cute to see. It's just so cute to witness that. The little tyke on ice skates that have no culture about ice hockey, and you can just pick out the ones who are going to be the next Ronaldo on skates, basically. You either have it or you don't, right? And you can grow from that, but it just makes your heart full when you witness that.
Again, congratulations, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank us.
And thank you very much for watching. If you've liked this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Until next time.